we are live once again. Some technical difficulties. You guys watch us screw up and get better every week. Well, screw up every week. Questionable on the get better part.
Well, we're trying.
Yeah. But guys, we have intros now. Okay, as you saw, some of them were glitching out.
Just moving up the rungs a little bit.
Intermission screens
every little bit
in the middle of them, but we're gonna refine it. It's gonna be beautiful. You just gotta stay patient. But good to be back. How was your week, man? How was it?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Can't complain. I thought
What?
I just I think we're muted.
No, we're not.
Okay, we're not. Okay. Well, technical difficulties, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, it was pretty good. It was pretty,
Do anything
all
fun?
Just
work?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Same as you.
Yeah, we got some good news though that happened. Some interesting stuff. Some stuff that you called as far as Carson Wentz.
All right. So something did happen.
Yeah.
My guy Carson Wentz got traded to the Colts like I wanted, and I'm happy about it
Yeah.
because I think that not everybody in Philly media, Adam, but you know how the media can be.
Oh, absolutely.
And I feel like the Philly media kind of demonized, not everybody, but most of them demonized Carson Wentz.
For sure.
It went from he's lost his job and that's not enough humiliation to now, we're going to make these stories about how he doesn't get along with the players. And I don't buy that. I think just because he didn't get along with Doug Peterson doesn't mean he didn't get along with the entire team. It doesn't mean he's a locker room cancer. And I saw that narrative, coming along the wayside as far as, Joy Taylor. I did a video on that. I don't know if you saw that video.
I didn't see it yet, but I saw you very upset with Joy Taylor.
I was livid.
She was weirdly aggressive, though.
It's like she had like a personal vendetta against Carson Wentz. And that's not sports coverage. It's not.
No.
I have my players I don't like, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah.
I didn't like Antonio Brown, but would I say Antonio Brown isn't a Hall of Famer? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of that way. So what I was saying, though, about Wentz is that she didn't just start by saying Wentz struggled last year. She basically questioned his whole career.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Odd.
Yeah, I think it's just like the narrative stuff, man. People have their players that are darlings. They can have down years, and it doesn't matter. They're still, the greatest or one of the best. And
so true.
It's just because you talked about it in your video, I'm assuming, but the stats actually back up that Carson Wentz has really only had one bad year, which was this past year.
Yeah.
But after
his rookie year, but
that's a rookie year. You're going to grow on that. Everyone's pretty much awful. Peyton Manning was brutal his rookie year.
Oh.
It was just weird. I watched that video of Joy just kind of eviscerating.
And I respect
Carson Wentz. Yeah, I don't know. She's fine.
It's not anything against her, and it's not like I have a vendetta against her, but I don't like false narratives. And she painted this false narrative. I want to cover two things. And then we'll get to the trade, break it down, and the fits, right? But Carson Wentz had 113 touchdowns, 50 interceptions. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. 62.7 completion percentage. He is a Super Bowl champion. Now, her point was that, one, he was anointed, this guy. First off, he wasn't anointed anything. He's a quarterback from North Dakota State. He went in the second round. He wasn't really recruited much out of high school or second overall.
Yeah.
And it's like, I listen to that. Like, anointed is Trevor Lawrence, the way people talk about him. Anointed is Andrew Luck. Anointed is Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Anointed is not Carson Wentz. No. It wasn't even Jared Goff.
No.
If there's even a question mark of who should be number one overall, they're not anointed. So I don't understand that logic. Tom Brady wasn't anointed. He was a 6th-round pick. So this idea that he was anointed was ridiculous. And then the second thing that infuriated me is she said that he had everything around him. That's a false narrative.
At North Dakota?
No, with the Eagles.
Well, that's just not true.
So skill position player, Adam, I went back, and he had one skill position player. Zach Ertz, one season, had over 1,000 yards. Right. No one else had 1,000 yards. They didn't even have a 1,000-yard rusher.
The Eagles are the butt of all jokes when it comes to having awful receivers the last 5 years pretty much.
I just think people look at the big name and they're like, well, Alshon Jeffrey, and they have Ertz, and they have Miles Sanders. I'm like, they have good players. But, like, did Wentz ever at any point have a Calvin Johnson level player? Did he have an AB? Did he have, DeAndre Hopkins? No. So, like, this idea, like, he was, like, she makes it sound like he was carried.
Right.
And I just
Not
don't
at all
buy
the
that
case.
at all.
He carried them, those few years of success
Dude,
they
just
had.
like watch him off script. I remember you and I talking about him because we had, we had the debate over Goff and Wentz, and then he played the Steelers that year.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay,
yeah,
I see it.
Yeah. And I remember the game he tore his ACL. I was like, we were just watching him.
Dude,
and we were like,
he was balling.
He was balling out. Yeah, he was amazing.
He threw a touchdown after the torn ACL.
That was the MVP year, right?
Yeah.
Well, the almost
there
MVP
should have been.
year,
yeah,
what people talked about. Yeah, man.
Oh, that was another thing. She knocked him for not winning an MVP as if he didn't tear his ACL. It's so weird, man.
Yeah.
It's weird. I mean, we could go through, like, his rookie year, 16-14, fine. His last year, 16-15, fine. But, like, in between those years, 33-7. So 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And people will tell me to go back and watch the tape. I watched the tape. I don't see anything wrong with Carson Wentz in between those years. 2020 is a different story. But 2020 he can still make the throw. He just wasn't consistent in doing so.
He was not. He was bad.
But
I'm not going to sugarcoat 2020.
No, absolutely. But I mean, like, it's not like he lost. Like, here's the thing. Like, my issue with Jared Goff is that he wasn't even attempting that throw anymore. He wasn't attempting the deep ball. And even when he did, it was bad. Wentz could hit the deep ball every now and then. And he wasn't like, that's the thing and why I feel confident that Wentz is okay.
He still has the tools.
Exactly. Yeah. He has the tools, and he's not, like, scared to throw down the field. One of my biggest concerns is when you start seeing ghosts as a quarterback. And I didn't feel that way about Wentz. I think everything that he had was fixable. His best year was with Frank Reich, so now, you know, we'll go into the...
He's just in a better situation now, and I don't think they gave up too much for him.
No.
Yeah.
I was seeing that people think the Eagles won that trade? Like, how did they win the trade? They got a third-rounder this year and maybe a first next year.
And a huge dead cap number.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not a good situation for the Eagles.
It's the highest cap in... league history at $33.8 million that they eat. I personally, think you agree with me. The Colts won the trade. The fit is fantastic because his best year was 2017 with Frank Reich. Reich is the head coach.
And then it was a conditional. That second rounder can turn into a first.
Probably will, as long as he stays somewhat healthy.
Do we know what the terms are?
I think he has to play like 75% of snaps or something.
Oh, that's what it is?
Yeah, so it's probably going to be a first. Yeah. I think those were the terms. I don't remember exactly what they were, but yeah, it's I don't think it was a bad trade at all. I thought it was a great trade. And Chris Ballard once again proves that he's one of the absolute best GMs in all of football because we were hearing first round, 2 first rounds, 2 first rounds and a player, and we were laughing at that last week. And Chris Ballard, and I said it on the thing, I was like, Chris Ballard's going to stand by what he offers. He doesn't move for anybody. He does what he does. And so then it comes out that, he didn't back down on his first offer, and that's what they settled on. I thought that was pretty funny. Mm-hmm. And it's an embodiment of what Chris Ballard, is for that organization. But think about this. Carson Wentz is going to have weapons. He's going to have Michael Pittman Jr., 2020 second-round pick. He's going to have, Paris Campbell, a 2019 second-round pick. He has a 1,000-yard, star young rusher in Jonathan Taylor, a very good defense, a good offensive line that really just needs to replace left tackle because of, Anthony Costanzo retiring. So,
it's a better situation.
It's a great situation for him, and I think they're another team. We talked about quarterback away. We say it a lot. They were a quarterback away. Mm-hmm. I really think so. They almost beat the Bills that went to the AFC title game. So.
Yeah, I don't see Carson Wentz being substantially worse than Phillip Rivers.
I felt like Phillip Rivers wasn't as good as Brissett was the year prior before he got hurt.
Consistent, and that's just the question mark with Wentz. Is he can he get back to that consistency?
Yeah, it's going to be weird just having pressure, not having so much pressure with Wentz, having like an actual offensive line, as if last year.
Do you think they'll get to the playoffs?
Oh, absolutely. I think they're a Super Bowl contender.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, I think, I think, people will forget, Wentz played really well in 2019. They didn't win a lot of games, but it's always on the quarterback wins. And it's to me, Wentz was really good between 2019 through 2017. His rookie year, he showed flashes, but there were times where he fell off.
Sure.
2020, though, to me, You saw things that you did not like, but it wasn't fixable. Like, I didn't see anything on film where I'm like, oh, he's done. He's hit that wall. Like, he's going down before, there's even anybody in the backfield. He's seeing ghosts. I didn't see any of that. I saw a guy that was playing through a lot of issues on the offensive line, doesn't have a lot of weapons, and had some accuracy issues, but I think it can be fixed.
That was the biggest thing.
His mechanics were hurried.
His accuracy was really bad.
Yeah.
It was like,
which was weird
really,
because
really bad.
he's not a pinpoint accurate quarterback. He never really has been.
He reminds me of like a Ben Roethlisberger where he's just a natural. So he doesn't have like this.
Well, I think that's his best comparison.
I don't think he has like this robotic, like every time he throws the ball, where his elbow is going to drop to exactly and where his foot is going to be. But he's just such a natural thrower. He doesn't have to.
Exactly.
But this year, he just abandoned all mechanics. I mean, you still need mechanics. Like, you can't just abandon everything and just think you're going to make these throws.
Oh, yeah.
No,
absolutely.
It definitely showed up. But
no, I definitely agree with you there. I mean, I just think people are already, it's the fun thing to do is hate on Carson Wentz. I've said that.
Weird.
It's beyond weird. I don't know why it's so much fun to hate on players.
I don't think he's really ever done anything controversial, has he?
No, all I've heard is that he's like the nicest guy.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty chill dude.
And then I see all this stuff like this year it comes out. Well, he wasn't talking to Doug Peterson. They fired Doug Peterson.
Yeah, they don't like Doug Peterson either. So what does that say?
Oh, and by the way, if you have any question or any concern with Wentz, look back on the last game of the season. After we saw it, the Eagles had their 3 big-time players from their Super Bowl roster. You had Carson Wentz, you had Jason Kelce, you had Zach Ertz. And they were all sitting together after the game. To me, those were like the core pieces, not including the defense. But those were the core pieces of the offense. That said a lot. To me.
What do you think about Hurts, though?
I like Hurts.
I honestly haven't watched enough to know.
I think Hurts is legit, but I
liked him in college. His final season in college, I was like, he's.
Well, I'll say this, and this is a little controversial. I think he was better than Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, probably.
I thought I
was never impressed by Tua, to be honest.
Well, and then the best thing is, because Tua was with Alabama. And Hurts makes the tough decision. He didn't want to transfer, but Hurts wanted to play. And, Hurts decided to go to Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley, and I think that's what allowed him to unlock this potential that he had that, he was never able to hit with Alabama. So, I think Hurts can play in this league. I like the second-round pick if you don't have Wentz. I didn't really get it when they had Wentz. But I think Jalen Hurts can absolutely be your starting quarterback, and I think he can work in this league. He fits the mold of today's era of quarterback.
He does.
And, with that being said, Adam Schefter reported that the Eagles intend to bring in competition for Jalen Hurts this offseason. So that whether that be a trade,
that could literally just mean signing
agent.
what
is competition for Jalen Hurts?
It could be anything.
Well, what would you call competition for him?
Well, to me, when coaches say competition, I feel like they just mean we're not assuming it's his and we'll bring someone in to just compete. But to me, they could be assuming that's just an old free agent quarterback.
So tier value, is that a Marcus Mariota type of trade?
I think that's aggressive. I mean, they could.
I think it's aggressive too. I'm just trying to figure out what is.
I just have a low bar for competition when coaches say that.
I don't think Adam Schefter would have reported it though if it was low. That's the thing. Are they going to draft a quarterback at 6? That would be ridiculous.
No, I don't think so.
And I'm seeing people saying that they should, and I'm like,
if you had Trey Lance and Hurts in there battling, that could be an amazing battle.
It would.
Oh man,
Goliath's over there.
A similar situation where it's you're dealing one of them eventually.
Here's the problem though: Trey Lance is winning that battle. I think he is.
Probably. And I like him a lot.
And so I don't know. What they should probably do, to be honest with you, if they don't, it's not that they don't trust Hurts, but they want to add, some fire under him.
Push him a
Go out and get Ryan Fitzpatrick, be your backup.
Right.
Do that they did it with Tua in Miami. Do it, with the Eagles. Plus Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think, is trying to play on all the teams in the league. So.
Yeah, what's he up to now?
I think he's up to 14.
He's crazy.
That man is my hero. But Yeah, so I think we covered that pretty well in depth. Moving on, though, the Panthers. They are going all in on Deshaun Watson. All sorts of news broke. They restructured Matt Paradis' contract today, their center. They released Kawan Short, Stephen Weatherly, Michael Pilardi, and Trey Boston to free up cap space. And Teddy Bridgewater, this is interesting. Teddy Bridgewater set his Instagram to private and unfollowed them. So
awkward.
That's really awkward.
That's such a big red flag.
It's very, very red flag. And he's clearly been told something that, So,
damn.
Rumor has it
that's crazy.
The Panthers would go as high as 3 first-round picks and Christian McCaffrey for Deshaun Watson. What are your thoughts on that?
No way. Wait, 3 first and
3
Christian?
and Christian. And I actually would do that.
That's actually insane.
I would do it.
Dude, Christian McCaffrey, and I'm one of the people who's like, running backs you don't need to spend high picks on, and they're not that valuable. But he is.
I know he is, but
so
here's my issue with
He's
McCaffrey.
A wide receiver. He's Le'Veon Bell at Le'Veon Bell's peak, but faster.
My issue, though, is his injuries. And I think that's why they're considering it, is that when they really needed him last year, he was not there. They had to roll with Mike Davis.
That's true.
And I'm looking at this. You're looking at this draft with the running backs, and I'm thinking,
there's good options there.
If I could get like Javonte Williams in the second round with Deshaun Watson, is that so bad? You know, what are your thoughts? Though?
I mean, I would definitely flirt with it. I've already said I really love Deshaun Watson, and just looking at what the Steelers have done from first round pick perspectives. If I ask, would I give up, Artie Burns, Terrell Edmonds, it's yeah, absolutely. What did they turn into? I think people overvalue those first round picks a lot. So
totally agree.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth talking about. It's a discussion worth having.
You think
the Texans do it though, because the Texans have said multiple times now
they're trading Watson.
Yeah,
you don't look at 3 first-round picks and Christian McCaffrey and potentially the idea of not having Watson all season long to prove a point and turn it down.
Are they all first-round picks separate years, or do the Panthers have multiple this
It would be separate years.
So
but I mean that's a good trade.
No, it's still great. Next 3 years,
I think it might be a little overkill, but I think the point of it is it's supposed to be overkill. Right. The Panthers are trying to push them to trade immediately because they don't want any competition. They don't want a team to go through the draft process and be like, wow, we really don't like any of these quarterbacks. We're about to offer the farm for Watson.
Well, hey, I'm okay with Watson not being in the AFC, so I'm cool with that.
I mean, as the football fan in me, I cannot wait to see him with a team like the Panthers, who I believe were a quarterback away and probably a running back last year. They were really close in a lot of games. The record does not indicate what they truly were, in my opinion. Matt Rule is a guy that a lot of people are going to want to play for. Young coach. He changed the culture at Temple. He changed the culture. He went into Baylor with all those allegations with Baylor. He comes in, changes the culture with Baylor. I mean, this guy has success. He's a great coach. And I just think, to me, it doesn't surprise me that anybody would want to play with him. And I think that's why, he was looking at it, and I think he was like, Teddy Bridgewater's a guy, he can come in, we're going to give him this money, he can come in, and he can win us games and manage the game. But I think when he realized that they're a little bit further ahead where he expected, I think now that is what is signaling them to go after Deshaun Watson.
I wonder what do the Texans do with those? I mean, do you think there's a quarterback they would love enough this year to do something for?
I mean, you absolutely draft a quarterback.
This year?
Yeah. I think they would take because keep in mind they don't have a first round pick because the Tunsil trade.
Right, so that's what I'm saying.
So I do
but they would have to take the pick and then turn around, and you have to trade up because you're not getting.
Oh yeah, but I think
But then you're taking Watson. Think about it. To move up, you're trading multiple first round picks.
I don't think so. Not necessarily.
Yeah, you are.
You could use Christian McCaffrey. Think about Christian.
Okay, but that's my point. Is you're taking the great package that you're like, oh yes, we got this amazing package for Deshaun Watson, and then you're taking at least 2 of those things just to move up for a quarterback who, I mean, if you're lucky, is going to be as good as Deshaun Watson. So you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I wouldn't be trading him to begin with, but I think the Texans have backed themselves in a corner that this is now just a really dumb.
But that's why I'm saying you don't trade up with that pick this year. Maybe you wait a year and you just have a down year. You invest those picks into just
that would be the smart thing to do.
Better pieces for the guy that you love next year, and you're probably not doing that well, so you're probably getting a pretty good.
I mean, I think I would draft a quarterback, but I wouldn't draft one in the first round, and I wouldn't draft one this year. I'd probably draft one next year, and here's why. If you draft one this year, you're not going to have a good team. You're not going to have a good offensive line. So what do you want? Like, are you really going to go through after watching quarterbacks? I mean, I think I saw something the other day. It was from 2009. Every quarterback drafted in the first round is no longer with their current team.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was like, whoa.
I think it was the last, was it 10? It's 10 years? I thought it was I don't know.
No, it's going back to 2009 because the last one was the last one was Wentz, but then before that was Stafford and Goff.
That's nuts, dude.
So yeah, it is. So I guess my point is that like the Texans, like there's literally a quarterback in your history that failed because he was thrown under the immense pressure of carrying a franchise that was literally starting from the ground up.
Deshaun couldn't do it.
No, not him.
No, I know Carr. But
yeah, David Carr.
And Deshaun couldn't even do it.
No.
This year, he
couldn't
carry them. So you think a rookie is going to come in?
I just think you're going to kill the rookie before it happens. Like, I would hate if, like, Trey Lance went there.
That's why I'm saying they shouldn't draft a quarterback.
No, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah. I'm saying that they will? I think they will. Okay. I could see why they would do it, but I can also see the problem with doing it and how much, pressure that would cause on a young quarterback.
Yeah.
And as we've seen with David Carr in their own history, we saw with Sam Bradford with the Rams, we saw all sorts of quarterbacks. Yeah. I mean, we see it all the time. I mean, you could say, Deshaun Kaiser even with the Browns, Johnny Manziel. I mean, if you want to go down the list of quarterbacks that maybe they weren't good, but it's like, how good were they?
Well, you didn't set them up to succeed.
Like these guys were behind no offensive line, and exactly. Goff's rookie year of anything. That's a great example.
It would just be dumb. If I see the Texans do that, I would feel bad for their fans, but I already feel bad for their fans.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do the Texans do then? Do you just be like,
you wait,
Ryan Fitzpatrick be our starter?
Yeah. No, seriously, something like that.
I think he would do that.
And you use those picks to just build a foundation for the guy that you're going to go for next year.
Yeah. You need a guy that can move out of the pocket, though.
Yeah.
So he doesn't die.
No, of course, yeah.
And, I mean, I will say this. It's almost not fair the way I'm talking about their offensive line because they did put a lot of capital in their offensive line. I mean, they're the reason the offensive line is the reason they don't have a pick this year in the first round. But I just think, like, with everything crumbling around it, I just wouldn't want to put a quarterback in that situation, a young quarterback in that situation.
Build it out a bit more, then get your guy.
Yeah.
And it also makes sense from a package perspective. It's like, really, when you stop.
It was a great fit there, Jimmy Garoppolo.
But when you stop and think about the package, it's like, okay, we just gave this up for Deshaun Watson, or got this for Deshaun. Now we're going to take at least two of those things and just get a quarterback who you hope is as good.
Yeah. I'm not high on Garoppolo, by the way, but I see the connection with him and Caserio.
Yeah, I think there's a bridge. It's a bridge quarterback situation.
I think people would be like, oh, well, then the 49ers need Watson. I don't think the 49ers would get Watson. John Lynch will not make that big of a trade. He won't do it. They traded a second rounder for Garoppolo. That's like the biggest trade they made. They also traded away one of their guys, Buckner, for a first-round pick. He's not making
he likes keeping
it goes
picks,
back to what I said a few weeks back. Les Snead will make that trade, okay? But there are not – I don't know how many GMs in the league would actually trade multiple first-rounders.
Not a lot, but –
the Saints GM traded multiple first-rounders for Marcus Davenport. That has not worked out. That was sad.
I remember when it happened, people were like, "You sure?"
Well, it seemed a little overkill to me.
Yeah,
because I liked him a lot, but I wouldn't. I don't understand that. But I think you only trade multiple first-round picks to get a quarterback.
Yeah, they just overvalue first-round picks these days, man.
Oh, and then
if you go down the list,
Schneider traded 2 first-rounders for Jamal Adams.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I get it. I like that.
It's the list of GMs that would trade for 3 first-round picks, though. I think that's just Snead.
I mean, he's the one. Yeah, probably. I mean, unless you're talking quarterback, then I don't know.
Snead and then whoever was the GM.
But
I forget who the
becoming
GM
more-
was
it's
for the
becoming more
Skins.
popular to
Yeah,
do, which I like. The Rams are setting a precedent there, which
I love it.
Which I think is good for everyone.
It is good. I mean, we need more star power in the league, sure, but like we also need. I think we need star executives. I think we need executives that aren't scared to make a decision.
GMs are important, man. People don't talk about it enough. They're
No,
very important.
they don't. They do not talk about it enough, and I definitely agree with you. Very important. So yeah, on this, I think this puts Carolina potentially in the Super Bowl conversation. I don't think they're a favorite. But they're like dark horse, I would say.
Okay.
If they get Watson, what about you?
I don't know their team enough yet to really make that call, but they're, easily a playoff team at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot, obviously, moving Christian McCaffrey, and they're cutting a lot of guys to make it happen, so they're gonna have to fill those holes.
They better do it. They better get him.
Yeah, they're gonna have.
They're doing a lot, just assuming they're gonna get him.
That'd be funny if they're just like,
and they're like,
and they don't do anything, and then their fans are like,
what? It's just like awkward.
We just want cap
stalemate.
space.
Yeah, it's like,
hey guys, we have cap space, but where are the players?
Yeah.
We just didn't feel. We just like the number being high. So moving on though, this is Rep Your Avenue. I'm just literally going to give you the floor here because you need to, so you can rant, because Ben Roethlisberger's future in Pittsburgh, for whatever reason, people think it's murky. I think it's pretty crystal clear.
Yeah.
He's retiring a Steeler.
Yep.
I think that they're just honestly, I've watched Kevin Colbert interviews, and I love the way he kind of he gives the media a little bit, but then he pulls it away.
Yeah.
It's all, to me, is that not like it's GM speak, so to speak? I don't think he's actually saying anything when he says he's on, he's not saying the same thing like Les Snead said about Jared Goff. Well, he's on the team for now. Like, no. I think Roethlisberger's going to retire Steeler. I think they probably already know how long he's going to play. I think it's only him, and I think the organization. I think he's probably told them, I'll play 1 to 2 more years.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, thanks for letting us know. You'll be our starter, and we'll be able to build around you for the next 2 years. Win now approach. Try to get you us a Lombardi. And then we'll go out and, we'll draft a quarterback either your last year or maybe even this year. See if, develop him. But you have the floor.
Yeah, so I'm just tired. I'm so tired, bro, of the Ben Roethlisberger slander, bro. Like, listen, I'll say right off the bat, I know that Ben is not the guy he was 10 years ago. I don't think he's the greatest quarterback in the NFL right now. I think the Steelers do need to look at the QB of the future. All that stuff can be true, but also what else can be true is that Ben Roethlisberger was not the problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's not washed. He can still play football. And it's all about, like what we mentioned earlier in the show with Carson Wentz, it's about narratives. If this was Aaron Rodgers who just had this season or Tom Brady who just had this season, people would not be, throwing them out with the bathwater like what they're doing with Ben Roethlisberger. And I have stats. I wrote them down just to make my point and actually prove it. So I'm just going to run through them. In 2020, Ben Roethlisberger completed 65% of his passes. He threw for 3,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions, and he did that in 15 games. He put these numbers up with the 32nd rushing attack in the NFL. And on top of that, not only was it the worst rushing attack in the NFL in 2020.
It's bad.
Statistically, it was the worst rushing numbers since 1964.
So
1964, dude.
Before my dad and my mom was 2.
It's unbelievable. I mean, that alone just like blew my freaking mind, dude. I was like, are you kidding me? They were that abysmal. On top of that, he put up these numbers with the receivers he had leading the NFL in drops with 41 total drop passes. He had there's no stat for this, but I think you can back me up on this. You watched enough Randy Fichtner offenses.
No,
he was the worst offensive coordinator in the NFL, right?
He's the worst offensive coordinator I've ever
seen. Thank you.
And I saw the Rob Boras offense with the Rams, and he's worse than Rob Boras.
Exactly. So so he has the worst offensive coordinator in the NFL. Unfortunately, there's no stat to like prove and kind of just take my word for it. I've seen a lot of the offense. It's awful. And the offensive line was only considered good or relevant because of the names, but we just saw, one of the best names on that line retire. Alejandro Villanueva is not the guy he was 3 years ago. He was average at best. And then, we had rookies and random dudes coming in and out of the guard spot on the left side. So the offensive line it wasn't good. It was bad, and that's shown through the rushing numbers. And despite all these facts, Ben Roethlisberger led this team to a 12-3 record, and I think would have been 13-3 if he played in that Cleveland game at the end of the season, and the 12th best scoring offense in the NFL. And he led this offense to the 12th best scoring offense in the NFL, while the rushing attack was clearly, like I just stated, completely irrelevant. So it was all on his shoulders. It was all in the passing game to score the points.
Oh, yeah.
And he led the team to the 12th best scoring offense doing so. And just for comparison, to put that in perspective, in 2019, the Steelers, obviously, they had all the same players and a better statistically scoring defense on top of that, and they went 8-8, and they had the league's 7th worst scoring attack. So he propped them up. I think that would be 13 spots alone. And they didn't have the worst rushing attack last year, so you have to keep that in mind as well. And then I just want to say, based on all this, obviously he's not done. He's got more left in the tank. I don't know how else to put it. I know there's a narrative out there that he's washed or whatever, but
you can't throw 500 yards in a game, and any NFL game, I don't care if it's garbage time or not, if you're washed.
Yeah.
The whole point of washed is the best example I can give is Peyton Manning with the Broncos, his very, very last season when they won the Super Bowl. They carried him, and he would admit that. He literally makes jokes about it all the time. He's like, I had nothing left in the tank.
I remember watching that game, the Super Bowl, and I was like, he's washed. But I'm not done. And just to kind of put the nail in the coffin, I'm going to go through his numbers of all-time stuff, because I think it's just a narrative that's been carried with Ben. And it probably goes back to the bad media attention. He was a jerk, early in his career. He was riding motorcycles without helmets. He was being a diva. He had, the allegations, which unfortunately in today's world, allegations, whether they're true or not, they'll just follow you and people will write you off for it. But legacy-wise, Ben Roethlisberger is hands down one of the best quarterbacks ever. All-time passing yards, Ben Roethlisberger is 7th with 60,348. All-time touchdown passes, Ben Roethlisberger is 8th with 396. All-time wins, Ben Roethlisberger is 5th with 156 wins. And then there is only one quarterback who has won more Super Bowls than him since 2000, and we all know the name. It's Tom Brady. Okay, so very short list. It's Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, tied with a bunch of other people, of course. But
yeah.
And then just to sign off, this kind of rounds back to my statement on narratives. And if this was Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady who just had this year, people would be like, oh, it was the team that was holding them back. It was the offensive coordinator. The quarterback's not the problem. Rodgers in 2019 had a starkly similar statistical year to Ben Roethlisberger this year. Ben, I would say just better interception numbers, of course, but
yeah.
Rodgers had 26 touchdowns and 4 interceptions and threw for 4,000 yards. Okay. So Ben had what? That's 7 more touchdowns, 6 more interceptions. Tom Brady, his final year with the Patriots, had a worse year than Ben had this year. 4,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. And they didn't have the worst rushing attack since 1964.
No.
Doing that. But no one's writing off Aaron Rodgers. Would you write off Aaron Rodgers right now?
No.
No, he's still a great quarterback. He can still win games. He can still go to the playoffs. No one's writing off Tom Brady right now. Would you write off Tom Brady right now? No. So it's narratives. I get it. Ben is someone that early in his career, easy to hate, not a likable guy. I think he's changed a lot in that aspect of his life. But on top of that, man, when you actually sit down and you just look at the stats, he's not done. He was not the problem this year. He's still a good quarterback. And if you think otherwise, you just have a narrative in your head, which is fine. Have your narratives, but they're not true. And that's my rant.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Well, I think it coincided well with what we were saying about Wentz. you know?
It's narratives, man.
Maybe it's the Philly media or
Maybe, bro.
the Pennsylvania,
the Pennsylvania people.
All of you are guilty. No, I'm kidding. And I made sure to say not everybody in Philly is guilty.
Yeah.
Okay. But the majority we've seen it. It's so easy to demonize somebody in today's culture.
Yeah.
And with the NFL, it's like, I mean, we see it with the young quarterback ecosystem that I always bring up that you probably want to shoot me for, but I mean, like you'll disagree with me, but I feel like Dwayne Haskins kind of got that vibe from Washington. And part of it was deserved because he shouldn't have been going out to a nightclub like that, with no mask.
Well, I've heard good things about him.
But he's a genuine person. Unfortunately, you have people that do, good stuff in the community and then get caught doing something really bad. You probably know who I'm talking about, Darius Geis. Mm-hmm. He was bowling with the community. He was being a great, guy in the community for Washington, and then he had the woman beat. I don't know what happened with that. I didn't look too much into that, but he is probably never playing football again.
Probably.
But I just think like narratives. I mean, it's so easy, and I think that's the problem with today's media. I honestly think that's why people are watching us live right now. I think that's why Pat McAfee show, which always plays after our videos. Yeah. Pat McAfee show has over millions of followers. Yep. I think that's, to me, why people watch Pat McAfee, is that's so easy for people to get caught in an echo chamber.
Yeah.
And so I think now people are like, all right, I just watched First Take. I just watched First Things First. I just watched insert whatever talk show. And now I want to see what other people closer to me think. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to watch Adam and Jake. I'm going to watch Pat McAfee. I'm going to watch insert whatever on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's this echo chamber that a lot of these sports media shows, they're pushing these narratives constantly. I mean, I find this really funny how everybody was like all of the media seemed to be like just wanting to tear Goff apart. As soon as the Rams traded him,
they were like, we love and appreciate
like, how could you do such a thing? Mike Tannenbaum, who, by the way, has a 48% win record, being a GM, mm-hmm. win-loss record. So I don't know why he's even talking. But he said, like, Sean McVay did an irresponsible thing. He didn't coach because he proved that they gave him $100 million and then he backed out of coaching. And I'm like, first off, Mike, you weren't successful. Okay, so stop. Second, that narrative is hilarious to me because it was all, Jared Goff's terrible. Jared Goff's holding his team back. The Rams realized this, and he's not terrible, but the Rams realized that he was holding the team back.
And they made
the decision that you've been, not you in general, well, you have, and I have, the media has been like, the Rams need to go move on from Jared Goff. Like, and now they make the move, and it's like they're demonized. Like, this is not a very good look for Sean McVay and Les Snead.
It happens all over media. Not to get so philosophical, but it happens everywhere. It's not just sports.
Oh, yeah.
Like, things change, and people, once you get the victim lens onto something else, like the opposite point, people will rally behind that, and they'll paint these new narratives. Everyone was laughing at Goff. They were saying he was bad. They're saying all these things like he can't win real games and stuff. And then the Rams do the thing that they have to do. And you see the narrative shifts. I was seeing like all these like, we love Goff so much. The things he did for us. I can't believe they would do this to him. It's like you were just saying he was like awful and holding your team back last week. So it's just like, but now he's the victim.
Yep.
So now we paint him in a new light.
Well,
if Ben Roethlisberger became a victim at any point in his career, the narrative probably would have shifted, and he'd be like a golden boy, like a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers. And it's just, narratives are so powerful, and I get them because I get sucked into them. Like, they're easy to get sucked into.
Oh, absolutely. We all get sucked into
If you don't look at your own research and just think through things, you can get sucked into anything. But it's just hilarious to watch the shifts and all that kind of stuff, dude.
Well, it was really funny how, like, there was this narrative that, well, first off, there's this narrative that Lamar Jackson should be a wide receiver. And I told
that
you
was
mine.
Funny. I never
my narrative
that.
On that. Because I knew you weren't as high on him.
No.
But you weren't
I was like, no, he's
you
were
like, he could be a quarterback, and he could be a starting quarterback at that. You just didn't think he'd be a superstar.
Right.
Yeah, which, I mean, I get. But I just thought it was hilarious. Like Bill Polian, who I respect, by the way.
Oh, my God.
He's had success in this league, you know?
Yeah, but he's been spewing a lot of weird takes
what
lately.
was that? Lamar Jackson should play wide receiver.
And he wanted to die on that hill,
dude,
by the way.
It was weird.
Yeah. It
was weird. I will say that right now. Lamar Jackson is a quarterback. Lamar Jackson was a quarterback at Louisville. It's not the Tim Tebow thing, like where Tim Tebow probably should have switched positions. Like he got drafted in the first round, but like he shouldn't have. He wasn't a first round quarterback.
Yeah,
that was one of the weirdest draft picks I think of all time.
Yeah, dude. But okay, wait. So back to the Steelers situation.
Yeah.
So I obviously made my case. I think he's not washed. I think it's all narratives.
I don't think he's washed either.
We compared his stats from putting up against Rodgers last year and Brady's last year on the Patriots. No one was saying they're done. People love them still. Ben has an arguably better year, really, statistically speaking, and people want to throw him out, and it makes no sense. So I don't think he, should retire if he doesn't want to, and I don't think the Steelers should get rid of him. What do you think, though?
I don't think they should get rid of him.
Yeah.
I think they should look at drafting a quarterback if they can get one of the top
guys.
This year? Only if they can get one of the top guys. I've been seeing Jamie Newman floated around. I'm like,
the Wake Forest guy.
Your eyes, the way your eyes. You guys probably can't see it, but like,
the
wow.
Wake Forest guy.
Yeah.
No.
Man.
Dude, the way he does read options just kills me.
You just looked like Wanda Maximoff.
Oh my God.
You're like, no.
Yeah. The way he does the read options, bro. That clip you showed me was insane.
But even that, like, it's not just that. It's just like I don't think
he's a great quarterback.
That good,
prospect.
but I don't like this draft class. I've said that. I mean, if you want to go out and get a Davis Mills in like the second or third round, all for it.
Yeah,
he's my 5th overall quarterback. But I think there's a significant drop off after the Big Four. Like I think the Big Four could go in the top 5.
Yeah,
all of them.
Absolutely,
and they probably should. Like they're deserving of it. Like you'd probably argue Smith.
There's
Chase,
not like an elite
Waddle
rusher, is there, in this class? That's like dynamite. You're like, dang.
No, like there's not like
there's no Myles Garrett.
Elliott.
Chase
I mean,
Young.
well, I think Javonte, your guy, and then I'm a little bit higher on Harris, but I look at both of those guys.
Not top 5 picks.
Well, I don't think a running back in today's climate's a top 5
I said
pick.
edge rusher.
Oh,
like a
edge
like
rusher.
A Chase Young.
No, God,
right,
no.
Exactly. So
no.
That's why this could be a year where literally it's just the teams that want their quarterbacks trade up to those first 4 picks and they take them.
This is the year if you need a tackle, it's there.
Yeah.
If you need a quarterback in the early round, like early first round,
you have to go. You have
it's
to go
there,
up there
but
get it,
it's not depth filled at quarterback.
No.
There's 2 corners that could go in the top 10, but I don't see an Okudah.
Right.
Surtain and Farley.
It's just gonna be interesting too because of the fact that there's no combine in the traditional sense.
I hate that so much.
So it's gonna be
I get
weird.
it, but I hate it.
It's gonna be weird to see how it shakes out, which will probably help the quarterbacks because quarterback is more just like.
Yeah, and I think it probably means Mac Jones is gonna go in the first round, and I would not pick him in the first round.
Yeah, dude.
I think Trask could even go in the first round.
Oh God, dude.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Because you say that, and I think the Steelers would do some stupid thing and take one of them, bro.
Here's why. Here's my argument. So what you were just saying about the combine, I think teams are more likely to stay close to the vest and be like, well, I watched Alabama. I watched, they're not going to go and do the extra. If there's no combine, they're not going to go after the D3 guy if he wasn't at the Senior Bowl, So I think they're more likely to pick, big school guys that they have experience with and know they're more comfortable with. So I think, that's going to be interesting. But if I'm the Steelers, going back to your point, I'm sticking with Ben for another year. I'm letting Ben retire Steeler first and foremost. Like, I don't see any reason for him not to.
I also just see, like, if they revitalize this run game and if Matt Canada is even just remotely average, Ben is going to have a great year.
Yeah,
and
I'm high on Canada,
and there's not going to be any questions, and people then the narrative could easily shift, and it'll turn into another Brady Rodgers situation where people are like, "Oh, they still got it in the tank." Yeah, and they'll pretend they never said anything this right now because all the narratives right now in media is Ben's done. He should retire. The Steelers need to move on. It's better for everyone.
Dude, I saw your tweet about PTI, and I could not stop laughing.
Yeah. Oh my God. But I could see. I mean, all it would take is 1 year, and then we're like, oh, Ben, I guess has 2 or 3 years left. They sign him, and this whole conversation is irrelevant.
Well, I mean, let's say this. Okay, so they stick with Ben for a year. Would you be opposed to them trading up and getting a quarterback, having, say, like a Trey Lance, like spending a lot to get Trey Lance, and then having him sit a year?
I'd be totally fine with that.
Because I think that's literally what they should do.
They should, but I don't think they will.
No, I think they'll probably be conservative in their approach.
Yeah,
they'll probably draft Trask, but I think they'll. I thought you somewhat liked him. Are you back on my side?
No. People want to say that Trask is just bad.
He's not bad.
But I don't want I don't want the Steelers to tie their franchise wagon to him.
I mean, he's not bad. He's just QB7 or 8 for me. But I don't have him at the bottom. I don't think he's undraftable.
No, definitely not.
Like I wouldn't draft
like
Jamie
third,
Newman.
fourth round quarterback.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
think he's a better Mason Rudolph coming out.
That's the problem, though. Like I don't know.
But there's a ceiling there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's I'd go with Trey Lance. What I think they probably do is they'll get like a Jackson Carmen or they'll get like a tackle or guard of some sort.
I'm fine with that too.
I think they need to look at the biggest issue here. Their defense is really, really good.
It's offensive line.
It's the offensive line. And they have the weapons. Whether Juju stays or goes, they still have James Washington, Deontay Johnson, and then the guy that I think could be the next Megatron.
Yeah.
So I mean,
there's no questions there.
You know.
But all right, yeah. So I think that's good on the Ben Roethlisberger narrative. But what's next?
Yeah. So ex-Pro Bowler. This sad news. Ex-Pro Bowler Vincent Jackson was found dead in his hotel in Florida. 38 years old. Family believes chronic alcoholism and CTE led to his death.
Jeez, dude.
What are your thoughts on that? The fact that his brain is being donated to Boston Medical Center.
He was 38?
Yeah. Wow. Could this move anybody in the direction of retiring early?
Probably not. I feel like the scare has already been.
It's out there.
Yeah, like people know at this point. And I think the reward for a lot of people is worth the risk.
I feel so bad for the family, though.
But they also don't know. It might not be CTE. It might have just been alcoholism.
Which is still,
obviously still super unfortunate. But yeah. They are donating his brain, though?
They're donating his brain to Boston. What is it? Boston Medical Center or Boston? No, it's Boston University.
Here's the thing, though, because CTE, don't all players pretty much have some level of it?
Yeah.
So if they crack into that and they see it there, and then the narrative and the story's written that he did have CTE, it could be like, okay, that's what caused it, but maybe not. Maybe it's just, alcoholism or.
I don't think alcohol combined with CTE is a good mix.
Well, obviously.
So I mean, yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about Vincent Jackson for a second, though. He's fun to watch.
Oh, he was great.
Like I enjoyed watching him. 4.4 speed. 6'3", 6'4" receiver.
Yeah, he was a monster.
Played for the Chargers for the majority of his career, and then went to Tampa. And even in his 30s, man, he was still going over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
So I wonder how connected he felt to this Super Bowl team because he played for the organization.
I don't know.
I don't know how that was his last team he played for. So I don't know if he was rooting for them or not. I know some players stick by the last team they played for. Some stick by the ones that they played for the longest.
Right. Or just had the best experience at.
I mean, I'd say he had the best experience in probably San Diego because it was so long. But,
yeah.
Yeah. So that's really unfortunate. Prayers go out to his
yeah.
family and. Rest in peace, Vincent Jackson. But moving on, the NFL is testing a helmet specifically made for defensive line and offensive line players. I find this very interesting, and I like it because
smart.
It's the trenches, man. I think it's just a different type of contact.
Their heads clash every play.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about that?
I think that's smart. I think you got to keep developing safety for these guys that doesn't impact the rules.
Yes.
So if there's ways to improve safety by not impacting rules, I mean, that's where you should start. So I like that. That's cool.
No, I agree. And then the Bills starting linebacker, and he's become somewhat of a star for them, young star.
Yeah.
Matt Milano, he's going to test free agency. What are your thoughts on him and maybe a fit for him?
He's I don't know too much about him. My perspective on him is he's just like a very traditional, rock solid kind of linebacker. Is that accurate? Like he's not like this elite athlete that's flying around.
That's the weird thing.
Like
He's
Whites
not. I believe he came from Boston College. I could be wrong on that.
I think you're right.
But
he's just really consistent and really.
I remember someone telling me he was going to be like a star. And I was like, I just don't see that athletic profile from him. But I think he's going to be like a scrappy type of guy. He'll constantly be the guy that picks up the forced fumble. He'll be the guy that's there for the interception. Like, he's just the guy that's in the right place at the right time.
He wants to leave or test free agency.
Well, it's his first time in free agency.
Yeah, but the Bills just had their best year forever.
Yeah, but the Bucs, though, if they don't bring back – I think that's the thing. Like
everyone wants to –
Yeah, like if they don't bring back David, then I would – like if I'm Milano, I try to sign there. I think he'd be a good fit there.
How old is he?
I think he's 26.
Oh my God! Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like he's gonna be expensive.
Off his rookie deal.
Yeah, what I think with Milano is that wow, I nailed it. He's 26. But I think with Matt Milano though, his biggest thing is his market value. I believe, according to Spotrac, I think I last saw was $10 million per year. So it'd be like 4 years, $40 million.
That's solid.
I think
That's
Tampa
man.
would Tampa rather do that. I mean, the loyalty goes out the window after that. But would Tampa rather? Oh no! Now it's up to 13.8.
There you go.
All right. Well, they're saying 3 years, $41 million. Is this a guy that could potentially take less in a weird type of cap year and then cash in next year? Do you think, or do you think he goes for the big payday?
I think he wants the big payment.
I think so too.
But it's gonna be tough.
It is gonna be tough.
Yeah.
I think he's a really good player.
Especially,
he was Boston College.
Inside linebackers still haven't peaked at their value yet. Their market hasn't caught up with how actually important having great inside linebackers is.
How much of like having the coach, having a head coach in Sean McDermott, very good defensive-minded coach, Leslie Frazier, very good defensive coordinator, and then just everything they had around, do you think like that Edmonds goes into Matt Milano?
Being successful, you mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you think it's a lot or a little?
Because they put him in a position to succeed. They know his strengths, and they clearly didn't view him as the fly-around athletic baller because they went and got an Edmonds.
Yeah.
That's his role. So they knew what Matt Milano is, and, yeah, like you said, that's a great defensive-minded coach. So I think it's a mix. I mean, obviously you have to make the tackles and make the plays, but he was definitely put on a great team and a great kind of situation for his strengths.
Because he's technically a 4-3 outside linebacker. So I could see a 3-4 team.
I would like him to be
wanting him to be inside.
I would like him inside in a 3-4.
I mean, I think
I would pay good money for that.
So
if you had like another, like what I said, like another athletic linebacker next to him.
Absolutely. I think like in 2017 he starts 5 games, and he plays 40.9% of snaps. And then 2018, he starts 13 games, plays 73% of snaps. And then you see in 2019, I think that's really where, from 2018 to 2019.
That's when I started hearing his name.
Yeah. We went from 48, 78 to 101 tackles. He had 3 interceptions the year prior, though. So I think that's what got his name out there. But then 2019, I think he became more well-rounded.
Yep.
And then 2020, it was a solid year, but he missed he missed a lot of games. And it says he only started 4 games, but he played in 10. So, like, it almost makes me wonder, if they're ready to just,
Right. Phase him out a bit.
Yeah, he might have been more of a rotational guy towards the end of his, his contract there. So, I mean, we'll see. I think there's some options for sure. And I think that, looking around the league, the linebacker position, you're getting another solid linebacker in free agency, that class. Like I said, I think Tampa is probably the best fit if they let go of Levante David.
Fit, yeah.
So, moving on, though, the Rams and offensive line coach Aaron Kromer have parted ways.
How do you feel about that?
I was not happy about it.
You think he's been a good impact on that?
Oh, he's maybe the best offensive line coach in the league, especially now with Dante Scarnecchia, the former Patriots offensive line coach, retiring. I just think he did such a nice job of with the cross training and everything. Like he teaches all the positions to all the offensive linemen.
Why do you think they parted ways though?
Well,
wasn't it kind of weird?
It's beyond weird.
It's not like he got a promotion to somewhere else.
Well, his daughter, she posted, Brooke Cromer, she posted a tweet earlier in the process because there were rumors that he was leaving.
Right.
And she said, we're staying in L.A. until we win a Lombardi.
Yeah.
The Cromers are staying in L.A.
Right.
She's not wrong because here's another weird thing. Aaron Cromer's gone, but Zach Cromer is staying. His son.
What does Zach Cromer do on the team?
He's an offensive assistant, so he's staying on staying on the coaching staff, and Cromer's gone.
That's kind of weird, man.
And Wes Phillips had the same thing. When they let go of Wade, Wes Phillips stayed.
Did they ever promote him to anything else?
No, I think he's just the tight ends coach.
Yeah. That's
So
kind of weird.
it is weird. And as you know, I've been in somewhat not the same experience because I've never been on a coaching staff, but like when my father left the company I was working at, I stayed.
Right.
And it's a weird feeling, man.
Is it?
It's a very weird feeling, and I don't think it ever truly goes away. Like,
well, why do you think he left? What do you think's brewing there? Do you think it's a promotion with another team, or do you think he?
I don't
didn't
think
like
so.
it. What I mean, what's the?
It's
just so weird.
It's
to me
really
watching
weird.
it.
I mean, they were named the Built Ford Tough Offensive Line of the Year in 2018. You know. And then 2020, they were a top 10 offensive line. 2017, they were a good offensive line. 2019, they fell off a little bit. Fell off a lot, actually. But I don't really understand it. I think there's more to this story that we just don't know. My guess is that there was a philosophy change. You know, here's the thing.
Philosophy changed from being a great offensive line?
No. As far as...
With him?
No. So McVay lost Shane Waldron. Remember when we talked about that? The passing game coordinator, he went to Seahawks.
Yep.
So what I think, and he decided to block the Chargers from getting Kevin O'Connell, their offensive coordinator. So I'm wondering if they just wanted a true offensive coordinator and they're actually getting rid of the positions of passing game coordinator, run game coordinator. And in turn, they decided we're going to lean more towards a passing attack, a high-octane passing attack now that we have Stafford. We were trying to run the ball more because we had Goff. Now we have Stafford. So now we're just going to try something different. And Cromer's more of kind of a run-first type of, offensive line, obviously because he's the run game coordinator.
I guess.
Maybe it's something like that.
That's weird. To me, man.
It's very weird, to be honest with you. And there's the Giants coach. He's the assistant offensive line coach at the moment. He played in the league, former center. Ben Wilkerson interviewed for the position, so he's the favorite.
Interviewing, yeah.
So we'll see, but I think it's very weird. I think if people are concerned, you have a right to be concerned. I don't think the Rams are going to fall off a cliff. I don't think it'll even hurt their record, but I think that it's something long-term to keep in mind. There's only like 5 coaches from the Super Bowl roster in 2018 that are still on the staff.
Gotcha.
So.
All right, and then Rams called about tight end Zach Ertz. Of course they did. What are they going to give up for him, or what would they?
Like if Zach Ertz was a free agent and you signed him for 1 year, $8 million, I still wouldn't even like it. I
feel like he's been here for a long time.
Well, they have Tyler Higbee. I think he's on that same level. He just wasn't used last year.
I've always liked Zach Ertz.
I do too.
Yeah, he's good.
But I'm also super high on Bryson Hopkins, who's my number 1 tight end coming out last year.
Which, yeah, he was a lot of people's favorite. And where did he end up going? Like 6th round?
Fourth round.
Fourth round.
But, like, I guess my point is that I just watched Gerald Everett take all of his snaps last year. That's one of my biggest pet peeves with Sean McVay. I feel like he redshirts every rookie that comes in, almost every. So, yeah, I don't think that they should do it again. I don't think that they should put him in a position to not develop. When I talked to Bryson Hopkins at the Senior Bowl a few years back, he told me straight up, when he met with the Rams, they said they viewed him as a tandem with him and Tyler. They did not mention Gerald Everett. He said him and Tyler Higbee. And I don't have a problem with them calling about Ertz, but I don't want that.
It makes sense, though. It sounds like they're trying to get that next pass catching. Like, they like Tyler Higbee as an overall tight end a lot.
Yeah, I guess.
It seems like they want, like, another guy who's more of, like, a pass catcher.
It's ironic, though. The guy that caught 3 touchdowns at the tight end position against the Eagles in week 2.
No, I'm not saying
they're probably like, wait.
I'm saying that they philosophically they want that other tight end to be more of a pass or receiving tight end. It sounds like, just based on who they're trying to team up with Higbee. Right?
I just think they want more proven guy.
Well, you would say Everett's more of a pass catcher, right?
Yeah, but
and
Everett's
then you
not
would
reliable.
say Bryson Hopkins more of a pass catcher, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like they're trying. And then Zach Ertz is a great pass catcher. We've seen what he can do. So
Higbee exploded in the end of 2019, and then 2020 he had super high expectations, and
I thought
he
got
got hurt.
2020. Oh, okay.
So he played hurt like the whole year.
Yeah.
Had the whole Gronk, you know.
I thought he looked good, and I was like, yeah, he looks good.
Well, did you watch the game with me against the Eagles where he had 3 touchdowns?
I don't know.
I mean, he went off in that game.
Yeah.
So I just find the irony to be funny. I'm sure that, like, the Eagles are sitting there like, sure you need another tight end? You
Dude,
just roasted us.
Two great tight ends, though. Never hurt
That's
anybody.
true. And then you have, Kupp and Woods and Van, and now, you're talking.
Yeah,
you go out and
exactly.
you get a Marvin Jones, or you draft a, Dwayne Eskridge or something, and
Yeah, bro.
I think they're just trying to be the best offense. Like I think they want to.
Everyone is.
No, but I think they're making it their mission this year. They
Okay.
like Sean McVay is so tired of like he's the guy that takes all the blame, and despite what people say, how he like all of a sudden now there's the narratives again. Now the narratives change is how he doesn't take the blame and he blamed it on Jared Goff. That's not true at all. He took the blame. Whatever you were just doing is exactly how I feel.
I hate that stuff, bro. Sean McVay is a genius as far as
Oh,
scheming
boy.
guys open. I love watching what he does.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The problem is Gerald Everett was schemed open, and at one point or
Couldn't
another, he was leading the league in yards from separation, and he couldn't catch anything. You saw the Wolford dime in the back, in the corner of the end zone that he just dropped.
I remember that.
Oh God.
Painful.
Anyway, the NFL is increasing the salary cap floor. So, what are your thoughts on this? Because the floor is going to be 180. I've been seeing a lot of people saying, again, another false narrative out there, the salary cap is now at 180. No, it's the floor.
The floor is 180.
It could only go higher.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel pretty good
It's
being
okay. I mean,
being
it's
a
better.
fan that doesn't have, this team that doesn't have a lot of cap right now.
It's better for sure. It's still not going to be pretty though. We're still
we're
going to see a lot of.
We're not seeing 200 million.
Those mid-tier guys get cut from teams. I mean, it's going to be good if you
It's
have
already
cap
happening.
space. It's going to be like there's a lot of names that normally wouldn't be in the free agent market out there.
Yeah.
But for teams like our teams specifically, we're going to probably lose out on some guys or even have to cut some guys that normally you wouldn't. So, but it's better. It's better than what was it initially? 175.
Yeah, it was 175. That was the expected floor, or the expected cap, actually.
So hopefully it creeps up. If it ended at like 190, that'd be pretty nice.
200, and we're in there.
Yeah, obviously
we're in there like swimwear.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, what I will say about that, there's a reason for it. It's the new TV deal they're doing, which I don't know what that even means. They haven't really released the details. See, like the NBA, they did a TV deal. I don't know if you remember, but when they did it, that's when you started hearing about the Supermax contract, when all of a sudden you had rotational centers getting paid $20 million per year. Like, it changed everything. Everyone's getting paid now. And the NFL didn't ever really have that huge TV deal recently. They had it back, so they're re-upping, and they're thinking that will help push the cap up because they lost all that revenue with, COVID. I think this is an opportunity, though, if I'm even a Romeo Okwara from the Lions, who had a very good season as a pass rusher, could absolutely cash in. I'm taking a one-year deal, signing with Tampa or the Rams or the Packers or the Steelers, Chiefs, what have you, signing a one-year deal, winning my ring, and cashing out next year. I don't understand the whole I need to get paid.
Well, it's just risk.
Like what? Yeah,
Do you trust yourself?
Yeah, I get
People
that,
are
but
gonna
like,
have to ask that.
You're not going to get a whole lot this year. You're going to get I think you're going to get
teams with a lot of space still.
It's not about the space though. The guaranteed money is going to be super low this year. No one's going to be guaranteeing money.
I mean, if you have the cap space, yeah, you can.
Yeah, so I guess my point is that for a guy signing and like trying to break the bank, you're not going to because it's fake money.
A lot of record-breaking deals this year.
Yeah, so the guaranteed money is really what you're taking home.
But guys are going to get paid still. Like I expect Bud Dupree to get paid.
No, I agree. I think Bud Dupree might go to Tampa.
Yeah,
because I think Shaq's gone. They can't keep Shaq. He's going to want over $20 million. He already said he wants to break the bank. He deserves it. I mean, he took a lot. He took
he went off
the tag
in the playoffs too. Oh my god, dude, he was just wrecking people.
He's so good.
That game against Aaron Rodgers he won that game for them.
Dude, he's
awesome.
Yeah, I have so many issues with Shaq Barrett going off because I've been asking for the Rams to sign him for. They only got him for a $5 million deal. 1 year.
Yeah. This line's great. I didn't see anything about this, but please let me, inform me. Teams are split on Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence.
So there was a
as
report.
the top quarterback?
Yes, there was a report that
Wow.
half the teams in the league think Zach Wilson's QB1.
I guess I understand it, man. I mean, the more I watch the guy, he's freaking awesome.
Well, I'm just gonna say this, okay? I know
And
Trevor
I think
Lawrence
the
is
JetBlue
really
thing
good.
really
Dude,
screwed
that was
him.
BS, okay? I'm not happy about that. I'm still annoyed.
I gotta
by
watch interviews and see if he comes across like a JetBlue kid.
He's fine.
I think he seems fine. Yeah.
I think people just look at his pretty boy baby face and they're like,
he does have a baby face. He's got a small head, right? It looks like a small head.
I mean, I guess.
But yeah, dude, that's crazy. So teams, and I get it, but that's wild to see that certain teams are thinking twice. But it doesn't really matter, right? Because the Jags have already said they're all in on Trevor.
It sure seems that way.
Yeah.
But
unless they want to play ball and maybe the second team wants Zach Wilson and they're like, we're gonna take Zach Wilson, trade with us, and then swing something there.
I'd trade down.
I would play those. If I was a GM, I would play those games.
Can I just have the number 1 overall pick so I can trade down? Because I don't need Trevor Lawrence. Keep in mind, my number 1 quarterback is Trey Lance.
I know.
So I would just be trade down 1. Oh, I'm gonna pick this guy if you don't.
That's
and
what I
then
would
just
do all the time as a GM.
Remember when the Niners did that with the Bears?
They would never trust me, man. They'd be like, "You're not taking him." I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I swear to God."
My head's right on the button. No. Do you remember? It was a while ago, but the 49ers, the year Trubisky came out, and they were like, "We're gonna take him." And they're like, "No, you're not." Like, we are. Like, oh, fine, we'll give you a 3rd rounder just to move up 1 spot.
Yep.
And I think the 49ers had Garoppolo at that point too.
It's funny, man. But so what do you think though? I know you already had Trey Lance at 1 now.
I have Trey Lance at 1. I have Lawrence at 2, and I have Wilson at 3. But I can see all 3 of these being put 1, 2, 3. Any of them. I can see Wilson being.
I can't see Trey at 1 just because not enough tape.
Oh, I love Trey.
I love him too, but I just think you can't.
But I mean, you could make the argument though. Zach Wilson, he didn't have a ton of experience the way.
But he
Trevor
played
Lawrence.
2020.
No, unfortunately, Lance played that 1 showcase game.
Yeah, and it hurt him.
Anything. I think that game sucked. I mean, I really.
It didn't make me sour on him at all.
No. I would have loved to see Trey Lance actually transfer, and I would have loved to see him transfer to Oklahoma. I want to see him get that opportunity because we saw that with Jalen Hurts and how important that was to get out there and start, with an offensive-minded coach like Lincoln Riley. I just wish Trey Lance took that step because
you got to stay relevant.
Because I think he's number 1, but a lot of people don't, and so I think a lot of it comes down to exposure. I think people forgot about the guy, to be honest with you. He's still in the top of mocks, but I think people are just Trey Lance, we'll just throw him to the Falcons. People don't actually remember him unless they actually been watching the film.
Yeah, but there were also valid questions about him, just the run-heavy attack, the simplicity of a lot of the route concepts and stuff.
I get that.
There's valid questions there, but he balled every chance he had.
So I heard some people on Twitter, I watched or saw, some people on Twitter were saying that Wilson reminds them of Josh Allen in a bad way. How do you interpret that? Because I don't understand that.
I see him reminding me of Josh Allen in all the right ways, maybe.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
He's got a great arm. He's got great accuracy, touch, tough guy.
I think my biggest issue with Josh Allen is he wasn't that productive in college.
Exactly.
Josh Allen was all projection.
Exactly. That makes no sense.
That's my thing is that we're talking about a guy that had an opportunity to win the Heisman. Yeah. We're talking about a guy that made BYU must-watch TV. Everyone was watching BYU this year. Yeah, who the hell was watching BYU before? People thought dude, when BYU had Taysom Hill, people were like, this is so cool. When's the last time we had a quarterback like this? And now they get Zach Wilson. They're like, Oh my God.
So do you think do you think he goes number 2 to the Jets? What do you think happens?
I think the Jets stick with Darnold. And I think they should. I don't.
Why?
I don't have any issue with Darnold. Build around him. I don't know.
Are you just saying that because he's a USC boy?
No, I'm not. He wasn't my number 1 quarterback.
I know, but he was a USC boy. He might have like a soft spot in your heart.
I don't do that.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe a Kansas player every now and then I'll do that for. I don't do that for USC or Bama though.
All right.
I give them the goods. Like if I believe that they're deserving of praise, I'll give it to them. If I don't, I don't.
Okay. I would be pissed if I was a Jets fan and they didn't take Wilson.
Well, I think just you look at the potential of trading down here or taking any wide receiver you want. I think that is appealing to me.
No, it's definitely appealing.
Because
you
give Darnold awesome. Now you have Mims, and you go out and you give Darnold either who I believe is the best receiver in this class in Jalen Waddle, or you give him Devontae Smith, or you give him Jamar Chase. I mean, these are guys that are like game changers. Like I think all 3 of them could have a similar season to what we saw from Justin Jefferson. Like I think they're that level of talent. So I think it's a legit argument, and it's almost the same thing like how like things are changing. We used to say in fantasy football, people would just pick running backs the first 2 rounds. But now you're starting to see those wide receivers creep up. It started with Antonio Brown because of just how much he was used in the Steelers offense, and he had like 200 targets one year. And then now we're seeing Devontae Adams and Nuke Hopkins. So I guess same thing can be equated to the NFL draft, is that the league's changing and it's more receiver heavy, it's more volume, and there's not as many bell cows. And so because of this, I think we're seeing more, reliant on a receiver than we are running backs.
Yeah, well.
And I think that they're more inclined to go after, a receiver for Darnold, and then maybe go out. I like P. Ryan. I don't think P. Ryan's a star, but I like P. Ryan. So if they wanted to create their own committee backfield, they could. I like the way Ty Johnson played last year, 5th round pick that the Lions got rid of. But I mean, they could pick up if they got Sermon, I think that'd be huge.
Yeah. Okay.
So
all right, that's fine. I mean, I get either way, right? You're not.
And I'm not saying they have to pick a receiver
hurt
either.
Your team by getting a bunch of picks, trading out of the second.
Yeah.
I mean, that's if they make the right choices. Yeah, it makes sense.
I think. I mean, if you fall in love with a quarterback, then you fall in love with him, and you should probably pick him.
I think Wilson is a guy they could fall in love with.
Who do you think it'll be, though? Do you think it'll be
blue on the Jets? I mean, bro, I know they're green, but come on.
Jet green. Dude, we can't talk about that anymore. That makes me so sick.
What, the jet blue stuff?
That stupid pretty boy narrative is what weird. Started this whole thing. And clearly it's from somebody that likes him. It's the same thing. What did they said that Dan Marino was smoking pot or something. How did he fall? He fell in the draft because someone made up a rumor about him.
I mean, he probably did smoke, but who cares?
No, but there was some stupid rumor, and he fell in the draft because of it.
Well, he was awesome. So.
Yeah. So
there you go. Don't make that same mistake.
Ooh. Now we're comparing Zach Wilson to Dan Marino.
Yeah.
4 of 7 picks in 2016 NFL draft have changed teams, and 2 are now on the Colts. 2 were on the Rams because Goff and
what do you mean 4 of 7?
Ramsey.
What does that statement mean?
So 4 of the first 7.
Oh, okay.
Have changed team. Yeah.
Overall?
Yeah.
Wow. And 2 of them, and 2 are on the Colts. Yeah.
Because it used to be Goff and Ramsey, and now it's Wentz and Nelson.
I think it just shows, again, the people overvalue first-round picks.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
But, let's see here. 2015, we have quarterbacks 1 through 2. Winston and Mariota backed up last year. And now in the 2016 class, the first 2 quarterbacks, Goff and Wentz, were traded.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird.
It's almost as if they're telling us something. Like history's repeating itself.
Yeah.
It's almost as if maybe we're putting too much of a premium on first-round quarterbacks. And hear me out here. We're not focusing on building around them.
Oh, well, yeah, I agree with that.
So can we learn anything from what? Yeah, can we learn anything from the Goff? Oh, let's go through them. So Goff, can we learn anything from that? Was that on the Rams or was that on Goff?
That was on Goff.
Okay. Wentz. Can we learn anything from that? Wentz or the Eagles? I agree. Now, Jameis Winston and Tampa. Who was that on? I think it's like
I think
it's a combination of both.
Yeah, you could say combination, but I think Jameis isn't. He's not that guy for me. I know you like him.
Yeah.
And I did like him coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Mariota in Tennessee. Like I think that was Tennessee.
I think that was a combination too.
But it could be a combination. Yeah. I'm not going to fight you on that.
Point is, though, you should build around these guys, especially if you're going to invest all that capital in them.
Yeah.
Like what the Rams did. They built around Goff until enough was enough, and they're like, no, he's literally holding us back. Right? That's when you should ship the guys. That's when you start like being like, we got to cut ties. Build around them first, though, always. Like, give them a shot.
I guess that's my thinking with Darnold. Is that he went to a situation where they didn't have anything around him.
Yeah, but he's also what, in year
3, 4?
4.
4? 3?
I think he's going into year 4.
No, you're right. He's going into year 4.
Yeah.
I think year 4 is his last year.
Okay, that's fair. If that's your stance, I'm like, okay. If the Jets are like, year 4, let's try and put some things around him one last time, fine. But that would suck if it didn't work out and they're like, we missed out on Zach.
I think it's almost it's really different from quarterbacks because we all know quarterbacks start off slow. Not all of them, but some of them do. Most of them do.
Yeah.
And I mean it's a tough position.
Yeah.
But when you look at say the 4 years and then you have the 5th year option for a first round quarterback, I think you take those 4 years because it's there. As long as the quarterback can start, has shown that he can do something. Darnold has not shown that he's a superstar or anything like that, but he's shown he at least has arm talent. He's shown that he's mobile.
Sure.
He can move. My only concern with him, my only real concern are his injuries.
And but I also think his biggest hurdle is the mental game.
I mean, that makes sense.
He's just so up and down, and then remember that stretch where he was seeing ghosts, literally? He like coined that term for a little bit of time.
That was a worry of mine. But like the way he bounced back, though,
3-week stretch there, that was bad. But
I did like the way he bounced back. I like the way he played against the Rams defense, to be honest with you.
But I agree, and I think it just shows why you got to really do your homework when you are going to draft a guy.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because if you're going to draft a quarterback, you should go into it assuming you're going to give them time.
I mean, you're essentially putting your name next to a guy.
Yeah, you got to assume you're going to give him the time.
And just assuming this is my guy. You're putting your stamp of approval and, if he's it's important, So that's that, and then we have NFL draft stuff. So anything you want to talk about? Anybody showing up on film? I got a lot of film watching done this past week. Starting to put together my board. Feeling good about it, but I'll let you start if you have anything, that stood out to you.
Javonte Williams, I love. I've been watching the running backs heavily and like offensive linemen for obvious reasons, and I love Javonte Williams, man. I think he could potentially be the best running back from this class when it's all said and done. I think he's the most balanced. He's got the best contact balance, in my opinion. He's got a good blend of power and speed. He can hit the home run. He can catch. He's a good catcher. He's okay in pass protection. But then you look at the 2 other names that you would put ahead of him potentially. And for me, Najee Harris is a great power workhorse kind of back, but he doesn't have that. I don't think his vision is as good as Javonte Williams. I also don't think his contact balance is as good. He's got way more power, but his top-end speed definitely isn't there for me. And then the other guy that you would questionably put ahead of Javonte Williams is Travis Etienne, obviously. And I think he is, like, really kind of scary because I think he has not good vision, and I think he runs very upright. I think he potentially could be, like, a bit of a bust if you draft him early and expect him to just be this workhorse, amazing kind of back for you because I think he has a lot of development to do. I think, like I said, his vision is not there. His contact balance, not there. Runs really upright. But, yeah, Javonte Williams is probably, like, my favorite running back right now. What about you, though, for the running backs? Like, who are you really liking?
I ripped through 14 of them. So, I haven't gone through everybody, but...
Is there any running back you would take in the first? I wouldn't.
I don't think so.
Maybe Najee.
I just think it's such a huge. Okay, so here's the thing. There's 4 quarterbacks that are going first round. And then you look at the receivers. There's about 7 first-round worthy receivers. It's a loaded receiver class. No first-round tight ends except for Kyle Pitts, who will go. And then there's like a bunch of left tackles, right? So there'll be a bunch of tackles. There's no true first-round defensive lineman from what I saw. Nobody that really stands out, jumps out to you. There's a few linebackers. Koromora out of Notre Dame. Parsons out of Penn State.
Guy from Tulsa.
Who's his name?
Zaven Collins.
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah.
And then corners, I think you have 2 that could go in the first round that will go in the first round with Farley and Surtain. And then the safeties, I think you have a second round. So you could see a running back go. Would I draft one? I guess it depends where I am. If I'm in the back end and I need a running back, if I feel like that's what I'm missing.
It's probably Najee.
Or Javonte. I have them kind of 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Harris has a higher upside, but I was really impressed with Javonte and his production. And I was really impressed because
why do you think Harris has higher upside? I feel like he is what he is. If anything, I think Travis has probably the most upside.
I look at him and Najee Harris is like a combination of Todd Gurley mixed with like Eddie Lacy. I don't
see the speed. Do you see the speed on tape?
Well, no. I'm talking about like the power and like his balance.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's still fast and the athleticism is there because like he has like Todd Gurley, like he'll just jump over you.
Yeah,
and then he's got the Lacy like downhill runner mentality.
That's what I see with him. Like I see more Le'Veon Bell than I do.
But Le'Veon Bell is patient. I like patient runners. So,
he gets downhill quicker, I think. I don't know. I'm just not blown away by it. He's a plotter, a good one.
Is he your number 2 back or?
Probably, yeah.
I think Etienne's 3.
Yeah,
I think those 3 in any order is probably the consensus.
Yeah, but people are really a lot of people I've seen really sold on Travis being the first one.
Really?
And I think that's risky.
I thought he was. Before I even went into it, I thought I just assumed because I watched Travis Etienne and he stood out to me the most.
He sticks out. That's why.
And then I went back and I watched the film and I'm like, but what? Like, say you take a highlight reel, okay? Yeah. And I don't watch highlights, but say you take a highlight reel and in between those plays, it's like, what are they doing? Because that's what I want to see. That's what I'm getting.
Highlight reel, Travis looks far and away the best.
Yeah, and then just those runs that are really impressive that wouldn't get in a highlight reel, little things that I take away from Javonte's game and Najee's game, where like Javonte will have nothing there. He'll create yardage by his patience. Yep. He runs similar to Le'Veon Bell at times. But like he creates yards with his patience, sifts through, the trash, so to speak, and then he like lays the wood on a guy like he's a safety.
He's got power.
Got power. And I think he's got really good pad level too. Yeah. And he does a nice job of falling forward. He can get a yard or two that maybe another running back wouldn't get.
Yeah.
Najee Harris will jump over you. Najee Harris will push you to the ground.
He's got power. Like
he'll
truck
he's got Derrick Henry level power.
Well, not as much, but definitely.
Maybe not like meme
but
level.
That running style where he'll run through a guy and keep going.
I think Etienne has a weird running style to me.
It's just upright.
No, but his legs waddle out like he runs kind of weird
stuff.
I don't like that.
You know who?
And say you get hit when you're doing that, you're more likely to get hurt.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
Cordarrelle Patterson.
Really?
Yeah. I swear to God, that's who he reminds me of. That's who I could see him becoming at the NFL level, like a weapon, not like.
He reminds me of another Clemson running back.
Who?
C.J. Spiller.
What? No way. He's way more explosive.
Spiller was very explosive.
But him? Nah, I think he's more explosive.
I think Spiller was faster, to be honest with you.
Running back.
No, Spiller was a bust.
No, like coming out though, like as far as like prospect wise, I thought he ran better.
Really?
Like in the more traditional sense, yeah.
Oh, I wasn't as high on Spiller.
But I'm not high on Travis.
I'm actually higher.
My point is I'm not
this
that
is the
high
funny
on
thing
Travis.
is we're having like cross conversation because I literally don't have any issues with Etienne. I just don't think he's top 2.
Okay.
But like I see bust potential because of the CJ Spiller comparison that I'm seeing in my head.
Yeah.
I'm not scouting the helmet, but I'm thinking that like he reminds me of that Spiller type. And
right, I agree.
He's honestly he's a little bit like Rashad Mendenhall as well.
Yeah. I just don't see him as a runner. a great runner right now.
So who's 4 for you? Who's the guy looking? Who's the guy looking out looking in? Because for me, I love Kenneth Gainwell. I think he's the most natural receiver of the group. Of all the running backs that I've watched 14 in depth. Kenneth Gainwell, Memphis. I trust Memphis. I've not only interviewed their running backs coach, Anthony Jones Jr., but I've seen what his results have been. In the league, he's put Darrell Henderson, he's put Patrick Taylor Jr., he's put Tony Pollard, and he's put Antonio Gibson. Guys. But one thing that all those guys have in common is that they run with great pad level, they have balance, and they all can catch.
It's
all
important,
of them.
yeah.
So, Gainwell might be the best one, though.
Yeah,
there's a chance.
I like him.
He's not as bulky as I'd like.
Yeah, I like Michael Carter probably a bit more.
I liked Michael Carter more, just watching games.
Yeah.
But then when I watched his film, I actually soured on him.
Why?
He's very similar to CEH. He's very similar to Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
That sounds like a good thing.
It sounds good, but he doesn't have the burst. I think he has burst. I think he's quicker than fast. When I watch him.
Well, what does that mean?
He seems like a slippery,
Yeah, but that to me, that's burst. Top end speed is not burst.
Well, no. Burst, you want to, it's the, it's that
Okay.
Say.
I think he's got the burst.
Let's say this. The rock and roller coaster. That is burst. 0 to 60. I want to see a guy do that.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't feel like he has that, though.
I think he does.
Really?
Yeah.
This is why we watch the film, because you and I see different things. I mean, everybody sees different things. That's the beauty of it. But, I guess I didn't see it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
How they used him, though. He never got in the flow because they would take him out.
Dude, I didn't like the way they used him or Javonte. I think they did
that to them.
I think they're both way better off if they're by themselves, because Javonte couldn't get into a rhythm. He runs 20 yards, and he's ready to go, and then they're like,
take him out, put
and they're like, what are you doing?
For a snap, put him out. They never got the flow.
And also, Gainwell had the same thing, because Gainwell, he didn't play this year. He opted out due to COVID. But in 2019, he had Antonio Gibson. He had Patrick Taylor Jr. And then 2018, he had Darrell Henderson. So, I mean, Gainwell's a redshirt sophomore, and he didn't really have he had the same thing as well. And a guy that I want to bring up next, a guy that I'm super high on, and I liked him, but I didn't think I'd like him this much.
I know where you're going.
Trey Sermon. Yeah. I see Todd Gurley with him. There are times where he gets out in the open field, and when he's comfortable, and personally, I look at this guy, and I don't think at any point he's ever been fully healthy. I think he finally got fully healthy, and I mean, he's had health issues, but he goes to, he transfers from Oklahoma after sharing the spotlight with Ramondre Stevenson, who I also like in this draft, and Kennedy Brooks. And he goes to Ohio State, and he's just sharing time with Master Teague. He's a lot better than Teague, I think. So he comes in, and the dude I think he's electric. I think he's got this pounding mentality where he fits today's NFL, that 6 foot, 220-pound back. He's going to last. I think the injuries sucked for sure, but I think he's going to be fine. He doesn't run I'm more concerned with Travis Etienne's bow-legged, running style.
Everything about the way he runs concerns me.
But I think people need to start talking about Trey Sermon. I mean,
I think he gets talked about.
No, not in the way
he should be.
He's my fifth running back, bro.
So a second rounder?
I think he's a second rounder.
Wow.
Well, okay, I think he's a late second, early third. Because I look at this and I see Najee and Javonte are late first, early second.
Well, second round is where the runs go on these guys. Usually,
yes. Yeah. So I see late first, early second for Najee and Javonte. And then Travis Etienne and Kenneth Gainwell. I see Travis a little higher than Kenneth Gainwell. I think Travis is probably an early second, a little bit after them, and then mid-second. Gainwell is a mid-second to, late second, early third. And then Trey Sermon's late second, early third, mid-third. And then after that, I like Kylan Hill, Jamar Jefferson, Michael Carter's my eighth. Super high on Puka Williams, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
His film is awesome. So
I haven't even watched his film, to be honest.
He's ninth for me. Khalil Herbert's 10th from Virginia Tech. And then I have Ramondre Stevenson, a guy that I'll probably be bumping up, Chris Evans. Not the MCU Chris Evans, but Michigan's running back, redshirt senior. He's good. Okay. He's the guy you have to keep in mind. Jarrett Patterson, if you're looking for literally, I saw, I forget who put this on Twitter. I would shout them out, but I don't remember exactly who said it. Jarrett Patterson, if you're looking for Chris Clement's, like, clone, it's Jarrett Patterson for Buffalo. They run the same. I think they're probably going to, like, he'll run the same 40 as Corey Clement in the, 4.6s. They run the same upright, they have the upright running style,
which I hate.
This is a guy you definitely do not want. Yeah, but like I think he'll be solid in the NFL.
Okay.
And then Chuba Hubbard, I have a big issue with because he finished out 14th out of 14 that I watched in depth. Hubbard looked like a star coming out of Oklahoma State. Not only did he kind of fall off this year, but my biggest issue is that he's got great vision, but he arm tackle and he's done.
That's bad.
And I can't have a running back in today's game that can't break through an arm tackle.
No, dude, because even when your vision's great, there's going to be an arm that comes your way.
Yeah.
You're going to get touched a little.
I mean,
there's no runs in the NFL
dude,
where
it's every play.
Things just blow open. And
he's about to rip open. Like
that's like once
the C's part.
Every 100 snaps, you'll get that. Yeah.
The C's part, and he's about to rip open, and you're thinking it's a 50-yard touchdown. Anybody in college, it's a 50-yard touchdown, and he goes down. He gets a first down.
That's really bad.
And people will be like, oh, the first down there. I'm like, I saw a 50-yard touchdown. Right. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Like, I'm not drafting you if you're going to do that. Yeah. So I don't think he's terrible. And he'll have a role. But that, to me, your role then becomes change of pace back, a backup. You don't have a starter potential if you can't break arm tackles.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't care how great your vision is.
Yeah, I feel you. So I think, the running backs are definitely good this year. But you said earlier the D-line. It's questionable, right?
So the D-line...
Like, if you need a D-lineman this year, it's not the best.
I haven't gone super in-depth with it, but just kind of going through, like, Jay Tufele from USC and Jordan Davis with Georgia, and then Christian Barmore from Alabama, who now is kind of trending as, like, the top defensive lineman. Could go in the first, but it'd be late first. Obviously, there's no Donald, but there's not even like a Danny Shelton. There's not a Vita Vea.
It's weird. It's been a while.
What happened?
I feel like.
No, it was last year. They had Derek Brown and what's his face, the guy that went South Carolina, and then he went to the 49ers.
I have no idea.
Oh, I forget his name.
No, I'm saying it's been a while since oh, God. It's been a while since there hasn't been, like, a top tier.
Oh, okay. I was like, there has.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely
Usually there's always,
right.
like, one who you're just like, wow.
Well, actually, this is a very odd draft. Like, this draft class makes no sense from what I've seen. So you have, 4 quarterbacks that should go in the top 5, in our opinion. You have maybe 2 first-round running backs, maybe 3.
Maybe 3, yeah.
Then you have like 6 or 7
the
receivers going in the first round, and then there's 1 tight end. Maybe you have a second. Tackles, though. Like,
tackles are good.
You have a ton of tackles in this class. You have interior guys.
It's a good line.
I look at this and I'm like, this is a weird draft class. Because you have like maybe 2
It's honestly
guards
an
that go.
offensive-driven class when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's offensively driven.
I mean, when's the last time we saw a draft class where, like, I don't know if I'll have a first-round grade on anybody at the edge position and the defensive interior.
Well, okay, so this list right here has Kwity Paye. People love him. I haven't watched him yet.
I'm not a fan.
Have you watched him?
I'm not a fan.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't see the explosion people see. I want my... Okay.
He's also a weird kind of... I guess, he would be a 4-3 edge?
He's a 4-3 defensive end, hand in dirt. I don't think he's very scheme versatile. And I don't see the explosion with him. I don't see, like, people are saying like speed to power. I don't see power. I see this is a guy that needs to win with speed, and like he wins, but like he doesn't. I don't know how that translates to the next level. Like, I saw him on the same tape as Josh Uche, and I was like, Uche's better.
Wow, okay.
So, I mean, Uche, I was very high on, but, like, if you're the number 1 edge defender, I would expect you to be better than Uche.
And even that, then the point just comes down to, like, what we said. It's like he's not a Chase Young level edge rusher.
And there's nobody in this class that's even close to, I would say.
Or Myles Garrett or et cetera. The list goes on.
I don't think there's anybody in this class that's, I mean, and we know what TJ Watt is. But I don't think there's anybody in this class that's even on TJ Watt's level, like coming out of college.
That's not good. I do want to get into the edges, though. I really haven't. But
I mean, there's one guy that I absolutely love that no one's talking about. Maybe a few people, but I'm way high on him. That's Jordan Smith, UAB, 6'6", 255 pounds. He's exactly what the Rams have been looking for.
That sounds like an outside linebacker, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm all over him. Love his spin move. Love his bend. Love his just he explodes. It's like I think just Kwity Paye. I think people like his ability against the run. He sets the edge well. I just don't see explosion as a pass. Like I'm not going to draft an edge defender just to stop the run.
Oh no, of course not.
I need a guy that's going to explode and blow up the backfield, and I just don't see it.
Okay.
So to me, I don't think that's a first rounder.
Wow.
But
you don't think he's a first?
I don't have a first round grade on any of the edge so far, and that could change.
Yeah.
But I mean, the only edge I've truly really enjoyed, I like Jalen Phillips. Honestly, Miami has 3 guys. That's the weirdest thing. Miami has 3 guys that could be the best 3 rushers in the draft.
Miami had a good team, man.
Gregory Rousseau,
yeah,
Jalen Phillips, and then they had the guy that I think I talked to you about, Quincy Roche.
Yep.
He had the highest pass production grade according to PFF.
Yeah.
So arguably, my top 3 edge defenders, I don't think I've ever said this before, could all come from the same class or the same team.
Yeah. And then safety.
I mean,
has anyone inspired you at safety?
There's a few safeties I like. I like Hamza Nasruddin, but I think he's going to be a second rounder, so I don't think he goes in the first out of Florida State.
Is there like any ball hawking safeties like top guys?
Javon Holland from Oregon.
He's like a ball hawk type.
I think Javon Holland from Oregon will probably go first. But I'd probably say Richie Grant is going to be your hard-hitting safety. So if you're looking for one of those guys, it's going to be like a enforcer. That'd be a guy that you'd want to go after.
Gotcha.
So.
Cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. We keep learning each week about the class, and eventually, we're going to be sitting here. It's going to be draft day. You, me, and Alexis, we're going to be talking about the draft and actually know everybody.
I know.
Because right now, I don't know everybody, but it's what I'm learning as I go.
Yeah.
It's also different. You and I had our teams in the playoffs, and, we started the AJ show, and there was so much NFL news that we focused on the NFL and the NFL draft. We also still have time. It's a late draft this year. It's at the end of April. It goes into May.
Yeah.
So
we're going to dive into that a lot more, obviously, as it goes, but
yeah,
there's just a lot of news. There's still even NFL news coming out.
Dude, I know.
Because of these trades,
crazy.
and there's so much stuff, dude.
Do you have any, perfect draft fits that just stand out? Like, you're watching a guy and you're like, he needs to go there.
Ooh, that's a good question. Usually I would say that with, defenders, but I haven't dove into the defenders really much at all.
Yeah.
Just because the Steelers don't need it.
I mean, I think...
Because to me, a good offensive lineman, he could go to anywhere,
So I think Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa is going to be the top linebacker. I know there are a lot of people talking about Parsons. That has been a guy that I've been watching a lot of at Notre Dame, and I think he would have a few good fits. But I honestly wonder.
He's smaller, 6'2", 216.
He's a puncher though.
Yeah.
He really lays the wood.
David Collins is probably my favorite linebacker, and it's funny because I made a video before I watched any of his tape, and he got mocked to the Steelers, and I was like, who the heck is David Collins? I was like, who is this
Isn't that
guy?
how it starts?
And then I still don't want him because we just don't need him, but he is awesome, bro. Have you watched?
I haven't gotten too much into him.
Oh, my God, dude. First off, 6'4", 260, but he moves 6'2", 216. He is crazy, bro.
Nick Bolton.
Put him anywhere. He reminds me of who's the UCLA linebacker or was he from UCLA? I don't know, but the linebacker, oh my God, I'm blanking. He went to the Vikings. Anthony Barr.
It was
better
UCLA.
version of Barr, honestly.
We fell so in love with Anthony Barr's measurables. Has he lived up to that
Not
potential?
really, no. But coming out, I'm always talking about them coming out, by the way.
No, I know. I'm just like, I was thinking about that. I'm like, Anthony Barr really hasn't lived up to it. I mean, Kendricks has.
Yeah. But he reminds me of like a even better, more refined like Anthony Barr coming out, bro. He's really good.
Well, damn.
He's exciting, yeah.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. So do you have any like specific fits for a team? Because I'm thinking receiver wise, I look at a guy like Waddle, and I think he's a perfect fit for the Jets. Because you have your guy that can kind of. Here's the thing, and there are people that will question me on why I would pick Waddle number one as far as wide receivers. When I watched Waddle on film, look, the injuries are a little bit of a concern, but I think he's fine. I think they tried to play him in the national title game injured to use him as a decoy. Was not a fan of that, but that's what they did. He was not healthy. So I don't think it's like a chronic thing or anything like that. I don't think he has like arthritis or anything like that. So I'm not worried about the injuries. When I watch Jalen Waddle play, though, he's like a car accident waiting to happen. He's willing to literally create contact at the point of attack. He will make the diving catch. He will literally collide into you to make the catch. Like, I was watching him, compared to Chase, because I really like Jamar Chase. He's number 2 for me. And I feel like he's the most, to break it up, Devontae Smith is the smoothest route runner.
Right.
I feel
Smith,
like...
Yeah.
Yeah, Devontae Smith's the smoothest route runner. Waddle is the most explosive in all measures. He's more explosive as an athlete.
He's like
he's
the X.
like he's the
best
guy.
X receiver.
Yeah, he's like the flashy guy, but like he has the mechanics down.
Yeah, well, I like him just as an all-around receiver better than Devontae Smith.
I do too.
Devontae Smith is like really awesome route running. I love to watch him running routes because I think he's phenomenal at it. But, yeah, if you're saying, like, take your X receiver, an X receiver, for people that might not know, is just, like, your primary guy, basically. Move him around, put him anywhere. Like, yeah, to me, Waddle's more of a guy I would put there than I would Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is more like, put him in the slot a lot to have those matchups, those mismatches and stuff. But, yeah, overall, Waddle's probably
– and I think he's more bulky than Smith.
Well, yeah, Devontae Smith is not an impressive
Smith is slender,
athlete.
man.
Yeah.
But Chase, it's funny the way you said that. Chase, though, Chase is the most fluid downhill deep threat there is.
I haven't watched much of him yet.
Because he will high point the football, and his body control is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, he's not like violent.
Is he a burner, though? Or is it just
he's super fast.
He stacks you. Oh, yeah. So he's fast, too. Okay.
No, he can do it all. And the body control and the red zone threat, he's going to go up and make a 50-50 ball, a 75-25 ball. Like, he's got the size. He's coming from LSU. They just put a guy in the league that there are people that think Chase is better than the guy they just put in the league. And as far as prospect, they're probably right. Because as much as I I loved Jefferson, but I think, Jamar Chase is a special talent.
Who's like the burner? Who's like? Is there anyone that's like? I think John Ross.
I mean, I think Waddle can run in the 4.3s if you ask me.
So you think he's like the biggest burner in this class?
Of the top guys, yes. I mean,
but who's like your home run? Those receivers that every year you can get in like the 3rd, 4th round, and they're just meant to be like home run specialist.
Jalen Darden from North Texas.
Okay.
Probably going in the 1st round, but Kadarius Toney is an interesting one. He's like having Tavon Austin being able to break tackles.
I like Toney.
Yeah, Toney's really good.
Yeah, when watching.
When you watched Trask.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's popped.
And you can use him in so many different ways. He fits today's era so well.
Oh yeah.
So Toney, and then Rondale Moore, from Purdue.
Okay.
He's fun to watch. The more he's like a KJ Hamler, but I think he's a lot better.
Gotcha.
From last year. Then you have Rashad Bateman, who I like a lot, Minnesota. And then there's a guy by the name of Nico Collins that, if you don't know, he's the Michigan deep threat, or he's leaving Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's like Kenny Golladay, to be honest with you. So if you think you should pay $20 million for Kenny Golladay, who can't stay healthy, maybe you should just draft Nico Collins.
Interesting.
Also, Tylan Wallace out of Oklahoma State.
I liked him.
Very
I
good
saw
receiver.
Him. Yeah.
He kind of reminds me, and I mean he's taller, but he kind of reminds me of Tyler Lockett. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown has the best name in the draft.
Is that brother to?
Yes.
It is.
Equanimous.
Did he go to Notre Dame?
He went to USC. He betrayed the family. But yeah, the thing with the St. Browns though that I love, they're super intelligent. They're like workhorses in the classroom, and then they're workhorses on the field. He
hasn't done anything though yet.
Yeah, he has.
The older brother.
Oh, EQ? No, I mean he really hasn't.
Yeah.
He's been battling injuries and stuff. It's a bummer, but
yeah.
Amon-Ra should be legit. So, great body control, guy that can go up and get the 50-50, good route runner, solid hands. I don't have any issue with him moving forward. Terrace Marshall's a guy that I think a lot of people are way higher on than me. He's a guy people have going in the first.
How about Amani Rodgers?
He was my next guy. Amari Rodgers. Had a great Senior Bowl.
Okay. Stood
out in a big way.
But he's not like a super fast guy, right? He's more of a slot, kind of tougher.
He's pretty fast.
Is he?
I think he'd run in the 4.4s.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he'd run a 4.4s and maybe like a 4.5.
Yeah, I see 4.5.
He's got like Robert Woods speed.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's good enough to in the NFL that
win,
translates to win over the top. But I think Amari Rodgers, and then the 12th guy. I only watched 12 receivers like in depth. This week, Wap Philor.
That's a weird name. I've not heard of him.
He's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Makes all sorts of crazy catches and very reliable. I was told the best hands in this class, Austin Watkins from UAB. So I'll be watching him this week to be able to tell you that, if that's right or not.
You know who my favorite center is?
Who?
Have I told you?
You have not.
Myers.
I love Myers.
He's so good.
Did you see my mock draft for the Rams?
No.
I had them taking Myers.
Dude, what?
57th overall.
Okay, so second?
Yeah.
Dude, he is awesome.
What?
He just looks and just plays like the type of guy that is going to slide in and just lock down the center position for your team for the next 10 to 15 years.
You do remember our conversation last week when I said Josh Myers would be an 84 Madden, and you're like, I will take that all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was who I was talking about.
Dude, I love him so much.
I'm higher on Creed Humphrey, but I don't think Creed's going to be there. So I'm willing to believe that
isn't
Myers
Creed Humphrey the one who's been battling crazy injuries?
No, that's Landon Dickerson.
Yes. Okay, yeah.
So there it is, the Alabama guy that I'm not, but
I love Myers, man. I think he's awesome. If the Steelers,
he's a beast.
Honestly, if the Steelers traded up for him, I would be okay with it.
He's huge.
Because you might have to in the second round.
Yeah, you're in a weird spot for sure.
I would say if they wanted to take their third-round pick and convert that to a mid-second-round pick to get him and a running back in the second round, that would be my dream scenario. You get your tackle in the first, running back. Javonte.
I just think he's like a 10-year guy that plays really solid football. Maybe he gets a few Pro Bowls, but
I could see it.
I don't think he needs to be anything more than that.
No. He's just very consistent, too.
Yeah.
I like him
He doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Dude's the Iron Man.
And that's so important at center.
Oh, my God, I know.
Being there consistently.
And I feel bad. I'm not trying to hate on Landon Dickerson, especially because he played for Bama. But,
but it is what it is.
Yeah, I just don't trust that. 2 ACL tears, 2 ankle injuries.
And you're constantly the lowest man on the line.
Keep in mind, you had him at one point. The Rams drafted him, Barrett Jones. That he had the same issue.
Yeah.
With all those injuries. I'm like, no.
Yeah, dude.
Alabama, don't scout the helmet, but Barrett Jones, Alabama had a bunch of issues. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, just anytime you have all those knee and ankle injuries on a lineman, that's their bread and butter.
I know.
Getting low, they need the low angles. You got to be flexible.
Say the only thing that's worse is if you have a back injury, I'm taking you right off my board.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the one injury I feel like no one comes back from.
A serious back injury.
Yeah, look at Robert Quinn. Dude went from 18.5 sacks at the Rams to he fell off a cliff. Now he got a little bit better later on, but with the Dallas Cowboys, he had a good year. But it's he still was never back to that elite. Robert Quinn was one of the best pass rushers in all of football, and then he had the back injury, the back issues, and he wasn't the same. Look at Joe Flacco, very very good quarterback, won a Super Bowl, How did that fall off? Well, he tore his LCL, MCL, PCL, and ACL, and
Back injury.
he had the back injury.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, dude.
I think the back injury is the most underrated injury and the most, it's the least blown injury. No one talks about it the way an ACL.
It does take elite athletes out in all sports, a lot of sports.
Yeah.
It just
Because you need your back and everything.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're an offensive lineman or a receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, if your back gives out, you're not anything. So
But I love Josh Myers, man. He's my secret little diamond in the rough there, who hopefully sticks around long enough for
dude,
the Steelers.
if he were to fall to the third and the Rams got him, I'd feel so good.
Oh, dude, if he falls to the third, that's highway robbery.
I
bro.
know.
Yeah, come on.
He's a second rounder.
I think
And
so.
and I think there might be a run on centers too, because I think when you look, the interior offensive line position. I mean, you could argue Vera Tucker. He could go in the first round, but if he doesn't go in the first round, that pushed him down in the second. I know some people would say you'd want those guys to be pushed down in the second. It helps the guy that you're targeting at 57 or whatever fall. I disagree. Because I think it causes panic. Exactly. I think it causes panic, and I think it would start this whole wave of interior offensive line that I don't want to see personally. If I'm a Rams, a Steelers, a team that's looking for an interior offensive line, hell no do I want to see a run on that. That would piss me off if there was a run on that, especially when there's all these wide receivers out there. Like, literally, there's going to be 60 receivers drafted, man.
There's going to be a lot of receivers taken. Yeah.
Like, I'd be so mad if, oh, and there goes Creed Humphrey, and there goes Landon Dickerson, and oh, there's Josh Myers. Because I'm going to be like, yes, Landon Dickerson's gone. They can't draft him, worry about that injury, and then all of a sudden, Josh Myers goes a pick before. I can already see that happening.
No, definitely.
But anything else that you want to talk about? We got about 4 minutes remaining here.
I mean, I pretty much discussed everything that's been on my mind, unless you got some.
Ooh, Luis Toban. By the way, what's up, guys? See you guys are commenting. Luis Toban says, Adam, how do you feel about the Steelers free agents and maybe future signings?
Oof. I think you got to focus on. There's a lot of guys that are free agents, and you really got to put your scope onto either Mike Hilton or Cameron Sutton, and just try and keep that defense as intact as possible. I think the offensive line, you could make pushes to try and keep there's a couple. I'm trying to think. I think it's Filer who's a free agent.
I would keep Filer.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get caught up in the offensive side of it. I think we're building through the offense through the draft, and I think you just got to try and keep Cam Sutton or Mike Hilton and go from there. We're not going to be making any splashes with big names as far as outside guys.
So as far as the guys that you don't like, the guys. So honestly, I want to get your thoughts on this. Joshua Dobbs, 26 years old, quarterback, would probably be cheap. Would you even bring him back?
No, because you just can't afford it. And
so
it makes no sense to pay even an extra $1 million on a quarterback who's a third stringer for you.
That's true.
If you're going to do that, just, sign a guy on the minimum deal or something that you could get.
Exclusive rights free agent Robert Spillane.
Yeah,
I think with exclusive rights you can tender.
Yeah, you can tender or something. So I'm not worried about them because they'll just give them those tenders that they can't refuse. But
Ola Adani as a RFA.
They might let him go, man.
That'd be sad.
Yeah, it would be sad.
Marcus Allen.
Probably gonna let him go. Maybe. I know he played some towards the end, but these are the names that are just luxuries.
Yeah. Gerald Hawkins is 28 years old and restricted free agent. I think they let him go.
Yeah.
Ray McLeod. I thought he was huge for you guys as a returner.
Yeah.
Restricted free agent.
You got to try and keep him, but again, these are guys you're not going to make big pushes for.
Danny Isadora, guard. Nah, he's a backup.
Yeah.
Jordan Dangerfield.
He sticks around, so I wouldn't be surprised if they brought him.
He's 31 years old, and they just love him.
He just keeps coming back.
They just love him, man. Chris Wormley, I thought that was a good pickup. Underrated.
He might be gone.
Yeah, UFA. That's going to be tough. J-Ron Elliott, he's 30. I think he probably is gone.
Maybe, yeah.
Our favorite, Jordan Berry.
They're going to bring him back.
Oh, okay. Sean Davis.
Nah, he'll probably be gone.
Cassius Marsh.
I think they liked him, so I could see them trying to keep him real cheap, but
What about Zach Banner?
They're bringing back.
Okay, cool.
Know.
I like Zach Banner.
Yeah.
Tyson Alu was
I want them
massive
to bring him back, but he might have priced
season.
himself out of here, bro.
That was nuts.
He was awesome.
Where did that come from?
I don't know.
When he was drafted by the Jaguars, that's what they expected.
Yeah, I know. He was really awesome for us this year, but he might have priced himself out of it. Here, he could probably sign a 1 or 2 year deal for a good amount of money.
34 years old, this guy probably is going to sign a 1 year deal to win a Super Bowl. The Steelers are in the picture.
Yeah, but I could see him earning more money somewhere else and just taking it.
He should just take it.
Yeah, man. I think he earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Filer, 29 years old. I mean, I'd bring him back for a year.
I guess, dude.
But I guess
it was really disappointing this year from him. It was not great.
James Conner at 26.
He's gone.
Cameron Sutton at 26.
He's the guy I make a push for, and then Mike Hilton above him, I make a push for.
So we actually have market value 7.2. Do you think he's worth that?
If you're gonna start him, yeah. He's got to be your slot guy, though.
And then Juju, I said around 20 initially. They have 16.1.
Yeah.
Do you think he's gone? Do you think he
probably
stays?
Gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say the Pouncey retirement did clear up unexpected money, so there is that aspect.
So right now, the Steelers' cap space in 2021, they have negative $14 million, which sounds bad, but it's really not that bad. It's probably it's one of those things if you made 2 moves and you got under the cap, you'd be in the top 15 in the league.
Yeah.
So everybody has these issues. Now this is including an adjusted salary cap of it's saying now 189 on Spotrac.
Interesting.
So they
bumped it up.
That is very interesting. It was 180 the other day, and I think now the news of it being 180 as the floor, I think they're projecting 189.
Interesting.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna do it though. That's our question.
Cool.
What's up, Matthew? Yeah, guys, appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun, as it always is. This is episode 7 of the AJ Show. If you want to find Adam, you can find him at Renegade Adam on Twitter. You can find Adam Steele. That is his YouTube account. Go subscribe to him there. You can find me, JkBogen is my name on YouTube. You can find me there at JkBogen DTSN on Twitter. And you can find the show at the AJ Show Live. We are now on Instagram. I don't know how to even run an Instagram account anymore, but we're there. We're trucking. But we're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Come reach out if you ever have any questions for us. Feel free to leave comments and stuff. We always like answering those. But that's gonna do it. So hope you guys enjoy. We'll be back next Saturday, and hopefully we'll have some more news.
Yeah, hopefully. All right. Thanks, guys. Till